Coach's Corner is your source. Baseball, football, soccer, and hoops. The Coach's Corner has the scoop. It's the Coach's Corner with Andy.
Covering Tri-State sports, it's the Coach's Corner with Andy on 92.1 The GOAT.
It's the Coach's Corner.
Hey, I'm Andy, and I am here with Gary Heagy. Gary, you're a longtime friend of mine. We've been, how long have we known each other?
Since you were 21, just turned 21. So
That's right. We won't get into that story. This is a family show. No, I'm just
Right,
kidding. Gary and I met at a club, a particular kind of club. We'll just leave it at that. I worked with your wife, Wytona, and that's kind of how we got introduced to each other. Me and Gary done a lot of stuff together. Karaoke. We had a couple bands at one point. Played for fun. We've been on YouTube before, but for different things. But now we're here for the Coach's Corner because of all the years I've known you, I didn't know you coached this much. So you coach football, you coach wrestling, you do the Washington County Junior Football League, and you're doing the new travel team, the new 13U travel team, the Maryland Cowboys, and you guys have an 11U and 9U as well there, right?
yes, sir.
We'll get into all that, but first, before we get into your coaching background, why you got into coaching and stuff like that, I just got to say something because I do remember one thing from our times where we used to hang out like almost every day.
Right.
And, family happens. I had a couple kids. Your kids grew up. Kind of one of those things where you don't see each other for a while, but once you pick up, it's like you never left it.
Right.
I feel like that's kind of our friendship. I do know one thing. You are a Tennessee Titans fan, and you guys got embarrassed yesterday.
We did. It happens. It happens.
Hey, I got to tell you, I didn't have the Commanders having an 8. What are they, 8-5 now? Something like that.
I believe so.
Yeah, I didn't have that on my bingo card this year. I'll tell you that much. I've been pleased. I was nervous going into the game yesterday because they didn't show up against a couple other teams that were beatable teams in my opinion.
Right.
And the Titans just came off a pretty big win against the Texans last week.
Yes, they did.
A game that not many people thought the Titans were going to pull off a win in, but the Commanders showed up. Jaden Daniels finally showed up again, and
Unbelievable.
I'm sorry.
Talent. Unbelievable.
Sorry to say, you had to get the L.
It happens.
I know he is an unbelievable talent. It's so fun to watch, and it's nice to see. I can't count how many times I've said this. It's nice to see quarterback progression in Washington.
Yes.
And it's been a long time coming.
That is something that's been missing there for a while.
That presence of a leader under center, even though he's a rookie, he carries himself so well. And I didn't have any doubts that he would going into the season. It was just a matter of when would he be ready to do it,
right?
Mentally, and because quarterback is just as much a mental game as it is a physical game.
Yes, it is.
And being a rookie, a lot of rookies got to sit a couple years in order to get that aspect and get that routine down. But man, he took to it like a duck in water. I don't know how else to explain it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I mean, I know I think he had a 5th year in college, I believe, because he played at Arizona State a few years and then obviously transferred to LSU. So that extra experience may have helped him. But yeah, it's cool to see. Hey, I like Will Levis. I mean, I don't think I don't think that's the right team for him. I think he needs to be in another spot to be able to be successful. But I like his attitude. I like his he tries, he gets in there and he doesn't just give up when you're on a team that's not doing well. A lot of rookies would,
right.
Oh, I don't want to do this. I need to be on a winning team, like that kind of attitude. But and he hustles. He's got hustle. That I don't know if you saw the video, but there was a play where he threw a pick six, and when he ran after the defender running towards his end zone, he put his head down.
Yeah,
just running like that.
Yeah.
I said, man, that man is trying. He's trying.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good game yesterday. I honestly didn't expect the Commanders to put up over 40 points, but it happened, and here we are. But yeah, I think the future could look promising for you guys. A few right moves, maybe you'll have a higher draft pick this year, or this coming year. Sorry, next year in 2025.
Right.
Maybe get another piece to the puzzle, but who knows? I mean, you never know. In the NFL, anything's possible. So,
Ain't that the truth?
yeah, let's get into your coaching background to start with. So, your first coaching job, we'll call it, was that with the Williamsport Bears in the Junior League, Washington County Junior League?
It was part of the Washington County Junior League. I started with the flag division, then moved up to the Pee Wee division and coached the Williamsport Ravens.
Right.
And then, we did the flag season, moved into tackle with the Ravens, but we had to skip a year because of COVID. And then the following year we had the Ravens, and then I moved up to the Bears and coached with them for next year will be my 4th year with them.
Okay. So the main reason you got into coaching was your son, correct? Your son played football. And how old is Junior now?
He just turned 13 a couple of days ago.
Oh my God. I can't believe that. I remember holding him in my arms when he was a little baby. I didn't know what to
in the little cradle as we sang in the kitchen.
Yeah. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. I know. It's crazy.
You're a proud parent.
I know.
Baby's like a pro.
Man, I remember those days, and Junior's always been a great athlete too. He's one of those kids that he seems like he's got a good head on his shoulders. So obviously he's being raised well. So, but the main reason you got into coaching was because of your son. So you started on the Ravens. Now you've been with the Bears. You said 4 years.
Yes,
you're coaching this. You coached this past season. Are you planning on coming back to coach again next season?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. How did the Bears finish this past season? I think the Giants won the championship, right?
The Giants did win the championship. They have 2 divisions, JV and varsity. I think it's 5th and 6th graders, 7th and 8th graders as the varsity. We didn't do too bad, man. I mean, we struggled here and there. Ended up, I think, finishing 3rd in our district, so not too bad. But we had a playoff chance, and we struggled, and that's where we lost. And I believe it was the Packers and the Giants for the championship. So
those moments when you're playing like junior league football like that can be really great teachable moments for a kid. I mean, it's tough when it's happening, but hopefully they'll look back and realize, that it helps teach you sportsmanship. It helps teach you, you're not going to win every game. How to lose gracefully. They're important things when you get up to the high school level. And you mentioned the junior varsity and varsity teams. You guys, and you also mentioned the flag football, which is you basically can start in kindergarten, correct?
Correct.
In the junior league, and then moves up to Pee Wee, which is 3rd and 4th grade, and then your junior varsity 5th and 6th, and then varsity 7 and 8. Now, I only have a 5. My oldest is 5, so I'm not sure. 8th grade is 13, right? Is that how old you are when you're in 8th grade?
13, yeah.
Okay. I couldn't remember. It's been a while. Junior played
13 and 14. They can be 13 and 14.
13.
Yeah.
13 and 14. So is Junior played on the varsity team this past year, which you helped coach. These Maryland Cowboys that we mentioned before, this travel team for football, is this kind of an extension of the Washington County Junior Football League?
It has no part with the Washington County Junior Football League. It is totally separate. It's a new travel league that started up, and it's really taken off. I mean, our 9U team doing wonderful. 11U team looks promising, and then of course, the 13U, which we coach, I think we'll be all right. It's about getting our players there to practice. We had a couple that played for another travel team that went to go play for one tournament, and now they're coming back to us so we can finish up our tournament. As our first tournament is the December 13th, 14th, and 15th down in Martinsburg.
Okay, so you guys technically playing a winter season.
Yes, sir.
Is there a fall season or a spring season as well?
The president hasn't mentioned anything of that yet, Michael Hess. He hasn't mentioned anything about moving forward, but being a spring or fall season. I think he don't want to get involved where it takes up the time from the talent around Washington County.
Yeah,
he kind of wants to let them play their ball there, and then after that season they can come on.
Yeah, kind of like a I don't want to say an off season because it would be the regular
Right,
season for the travel team, but kind of like an off season if you are involved in those Washington County leagues that
right,
you want to play on the travel team if you make it. Yeah, I like that option. Kind of like I mean that's what most travel teams do. They play in the off season
right.
of the whatever the popular league is around that county. So what was the inspiration for, you said Michael Hess is the president over there. Did you have any part in helping create this league for the 13U travel team, or were you just approached to coach?
I was approached for one, my son, and then also me to come out and help coach. Um,
Oh, great.
they
Cool.
seen what I could do as far as a coach, and a lot of the 11U children that were, or I should say, players going over to the 11U Maryland Cowboys were part of a bunch of kids that I've coached, and
Mhm.
I guess they spoke highly of me, and they came sorting me out.
Not many people don't speak highly of you, Gary. You're a good man.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I remember. I remember when we used to hang out and we were in the band together and stuff. You'd always have, one of those like life lessons, and you'd always have some kind of piece of advice or whatever I was going through.
Right.
Because like we said, I met you when I was 21, and you had some. I'm not gonna tell everybody your age, but you had some experience on me.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine you taking that over to the coaching side, and those kids are getting, the experience they deserve that they're looking for. And I'm sure your guys are going to do awesome in the with travel football. So when you guys travel, how far will you guys travel to play? Do you guys know yet? Do you have
This
any
is
set
actually, yeah, it's actually a
teams?
local. It's local traveling
Okay.
versus some of them that can be really expensive. I mean, some of them are
Yeah.
traveling all over to Florida and down to that. We're not traveling like that. As I said, we're
Mhm.
a new travel team, so we're just locally. I think the furthest we're going to travel is like 2 hours away, so
Yeah.
not too bad.
Is that the goal to get to further, traveling further, or
I
is it
think
always to
so.
keep it local?
I think
Okay.
so because I do know that the president and the head coach DJ Smith, man, they want the best for the kids and want to give them a chance to play against some outer talent. You know what I mean? And I
Hmm.
agree too. I mean, because when you play in a small field, like and nothing against Washington County Junior Football League because I love it to death, but that's a small pond of talent
Yeah.
players. And then when these kids go up and they go to high school, then they're meeting other kids that are just phenomenal talent, you know what I mean? And
Mhm.
then they kind of get shocked and they're not the star anymore. So
Yeah.
this kind of broadens out and gives them a taste of other ponds and lakes to fish from. You know what I mean?
Yep,
And
I
you get
got you.
that season on them.
And especially at that age when you're hitting 13 and 14 years old,
Right.
that if you plan to go to college out of high school, that's the time to start building up your resume, to start getting tape, getting your highlights to, those who may want to see it or those who you want to see it. So I
Right.
think this is great. I think it's really cool. I saw some Facebook posts about it. Um, I think last month maybe, because this was fairly new. I actually reached out to Michael as well. I think we're planning on getting together maybe next week at some point. But I've been following along the Facebook page. You guys seem pretty popular
Yeah.
so far for being a new travel league. Are your teams filled already, or are you still holding some tryouts and looking for some players?
We're pretty much filled. We had a lot of the Washington County Junior Football League come over. I know with the Cowboys, we have the Williamsport Bears. We have the Packers from South, um, a few Giants from the North End, uh, and some Vikings, Williamsport Vikings that all came over. So it's a good mixture of all these kids coming in together and get to play with each other. You know,
Yeah.
so
Oh, cool. That's awesome. So like we said, not only does Gary coach football, but he's also a wrestling coach as well. And when we come back with the Coach's Corner, we will touch on the Williamsport Junior Wrestling Club and your coaching career there.
It's the Coach's Corner with Andy.
Covering tri-state sports, it's the Coach's Corner with Andy on 92.1 The GOAT.
All right, we are back on the Coach's Corner, and we still have Gary here with us. So, Gary, we already talked about your time with the Washington County Junior Football League with the Ravens and the Bears, and we also touched on the new travel league for your 13U Maryland Cowboys. Now we're going to get into the Williamsport Junior Wrestling Club, which you've been involved with for how long?
Going on 4 years there also.
Okay. And the reason for you getting into coaching there is also your son, Junior, right? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
When did he start wrestling? 4 years? Like, was it 4 years ago that he got into it and you were right off the bat?
4 years ago, yeah, he started, and I think it was 5 years ago. Yeah, he started
Okay.
5 years ago, and
Mhm.
he started wrestling. And the first year, I just kind of hung back and being with my mixed martial arts coaching there when I used to coach that back in the day. I tried to show him a couple tips here and there, and I seen that there wasn't enough coaching for the Williamsport Wildcats, especially for the older intermediate and juniors. And I felt bad for some of the coaches running around from one mat to another and not being there, and it kind of sucked for some of the wrestlers. So the next year I offered to help coach with Ralph Crawford, the president of the wrestling league, and he said, by all means, come on in. And I've been there ever since, and I love it. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
Get to coach some really talented kids. Some of them that you might want to look out for with the Williamsport High School. Xavier Bowie, that's my boy. I love him to death. Talented kid, all around athlete. Even Williamsport might have their first female state champion, Lacey Durham. She'll be wrestling for them this year. So
Awesome.
Talented individuals.
And she was in the Williamsport Junior Wrestling Club as well?
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. So parents like you are few and far between when it comes to recreational sports like that. It's always, especially when it's all mostly volunteer driven, coaching wise,
Right.
it's tough to find coaches because, when you coach in these rec leagues like that, whether it be football, whether it be wrestling, soccer, baseball, it's all volunteer driven. These coaches aren't getting paid. The coaches are giving their time. Now, 9 times out of 10, their kids most likely involved on the team, and that's why they're willing to get into it. But I started coaching at the Hagerstown Area Youth Soccer League. My daughter Braylon, Bray. She started playing soccer when she was how old is she? She's 5. She started playing soccer when she was 3.
Right.
And the coach on the team we were friends with because Braylon went to daycare with her son and her daughter. And I saw her out there running around with this 15 of these 3 and 4 year olds. And it's hard to keep them in line. So I was like, I'll volunteer to help. So I volunteered to help as an assistant coach. And, it was kind of like herding cats every week.
Yes.
Wasn't really much coaching. You're trying to teach them, but they got about 5 seconds worth of attention span. So
yes.
And I actually took over head coaching the next year, and still kind of the same thing. Wasn't really much different from assistant coaching, except I was in contact with the parents more often. And then when Braylon moved up a division and got into what they call U7 over there, which is ages 5 to 7, you start to play games. And I kept with the coaching, and it's becoming more involved.
Right.
And like you said, you start to get recruited to different things when you're in the league and you're coaching. You're like, oh, can you do this?
Right.
Oh yeah, sure.
Right.
But it's all volunteer. And I know a lot of parents over there at the wrestling club probably really appreciate you coaching. And like we said before, you have that wise advice. Are you still following WWE?
No, not so much. I don't have time no more, man. You
don't have time for anything. You're always busy.
Yeah.
You don't know anything going on in the WWE. Obviously, you know about Roman Reigns. You've heard of Roman Reigns.
Yes.
The man in WWE. He has his wise man on his side, Paul Heyman. You could be the wise man. Junior could be Roman.
There we go. Hey, another WWE from Hagerstown, like LA Knight, right?
Yeah, right. Oh man, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I remember hearing about that, and that he was in their developmental program, NXT over there. If anybody actually knows what we're talking about, not many people follow professional wrestling, but I'm still kind of into it. Not as much as I used to be when we used to go to the shows back in the day. I'm sure you remember those. That was fun. But that was back in I don't think it was
Brock Lesnar days.
The Brock Lesnar days. John Cena was still there.
Yes.
Yeah. The guard has changed since then, definitely. But I still follow it here and there. I watch it on, through the week and a couple occasional pay-per-views here and there. But yeah. So I lost my train of thought. What were we talking
About the
about?
wise man.
The wise
Paul
man. Thank
Hyman,
you.
yeah.
Phew. It's been a weekend.
I
I
got you,
thought
man.
I was talking to somebody earlier today, and they said January 31st, and I was like, oh, what a way to spend your New Year's Eve. And they looked at me and they were like, what are you talking about? And I was like, New Year's Eve, the 31st. And they're like, December 31st. And I was like, oh, I've had off since Thursday. And
Oh,
today's Monday. So,
right.
my mind stayed home apparently, and I showed up to work. But anyways, yeah, he's the wise man. He's kind of like the right-hand man of Roman Reigns, and he gives him all his advice. I feel like that's kind of your coaching style. Would you say you're kind of the advice giver,
I, I,
the lesson teacher?
man, I still do give those life lessons to try to help these athletes out, man. Because I hate to see wasted talent.
Yeah.
That's another reason why I like coaching is because you can kind of get in their butts a little bit when you see them wasting their talent because they could be phenomenal. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I mean, I got to say, Xavier Bowie, one of my top guys that I believe that has what it takes to make it, whether in D1 football or wrestling. I mean, he came onto the Wildcats as a freshman, and dude, he was playing varsity football and varsity wrestling that year, and did
Mhm.
amazing. Did amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool to see freshmen succeed at such an early stage in high school. They're going to be something special. You didn't wrestle any in high school, is that right? You did. You
I
said you
did.
had. I know you did
Yeah,
wrestle. Okay. You
yeah.
also
Back
have a mixed
I didn't.
martial arts background, right?
Right. Yeah, I didn't wrestle in high school. I wrestled for a collegiate company out of Texas in Grand Prairie called
Okay.
Poly America, and did rather well there. Wrestled there for like a year and a half, but then
Mhm.
ended up moving. So, as my story goes in Texas, moving around,
Yep.
and then
T-
that's when I got in. When I moved, that's when I got into the mixed martial art. Well, not really the mixed martial arts. It was more so Brazilian Jiu Jitsu with Gracie
mhm.
and doing Gracie Jiu Jitsu and learned from there. And, you know, just kept learning and kept broadening my knowledge on any kind of aspect of mixed
You're
martial
like
arts.
you're like a jack of all trades. You kind of know a little bit about everything.
Right. But I'm a master of none.
Hey, but you know everything. So
Right. Right.
even if you can't master anything physically, you can at least give the advice on how to achieve it mentally, right? So,
Correct. Correct. I can do that.
so how many wrestlers do you have over there at the Williamsport Junior Wrestling Club?
Right now, I think we have about just in the juniors and intermediates, um, about 30
Oh
wrestlers.
wow.
Yeah. And then the smaller children, from the midgets and bantams and all that. There's a
Mhm.
lot more of them. With wrestling programs, it tends to take the little guys. You'll get a bunch of them, and as time goes through, as they get older, some of the kids want to drop out and not
Yeah.
wrestle anymore. So the older kids kind of get to be a smaller group.
Yeah. The ones that take it a little more serious and want to keep progressing
Right,
on with it. I got you. Yeah. I mean, any recreational sport is that way when you start that young.
right,
The parents got to get them into it to see if they like it to begin with. And if they do, great, stick with it.
right.
So how young can you start out at the Williamsport Junior Wrestling Club? Is
I
it
think they.
kindergarten?
I think it is kindergarten there. Yes, sir.
Okay. And that's all, and they go all the way up to high school, and you help
Up to
prepare
eighth grade is what
eighth
we
grade.
typically
Okay.
do. Yep.
So right to the end of middle school, and you guys help prepare them for the high school wrestling team. What kinds of things do you guys do to prep the wrestlers to make the transition to high school?
Just basically teach them all the basics, man. You got to get them basics and teach them that take every loss with a grain of salt.
Hmm.
Not every guy you face or every girl that you face across the mat from you is going to beat you no matter the record because they never faced you before. You
Hmm.
may train harder. You never know. And try to
Yeah,
get them in that mental state because I believe that wrestling is probably one of the toughest sports there is. I mean,
it is.
mentally and physically
Yeah.
on all
Uh,
aspects.
Yeah, I remember I was friends with a couple wrestlers in high school, and man, the physical toll they put on their body just to, even just to make weight or to gain weight
Right.
to meet the certain what's the word I'm looking for?
Weight
Weight
class.
class, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot, and they're in top physical peak form for a high school kid, and it's amazing to see, and the dedication they put. It's a very dedicated sport. You don't think of it as one. But it's like a very personally dedicated. It's a team aspect, but it's about you as well. I
Right.
think that's what's kind of cool about it. So the Williamsport Wrestling Club, Junior Wrestling Club, is open to anybody. Do you have to try out as you get older to
Yes,
make
sir.
the? Okay, so
Come on out and
and
wrestle with us.
all right, that's cool too.
We do have an advantage a little bit. We do have the high school wrestling coach for Williamsport, Coach
uh-huh.
Retorvik.
Yep.
He does come over and help out with us. So he helps
Okay.
that transition. That way they kind of get a name with the face moving forward, going into high school.
Mm-hmm. I talked to a few wrestlers. I talked to Tanner Halling at Boonesboro,
Oh, he's awesome.
recent state champ. Yeah,
Talented
very
kid.
very cool. And he's got these kids have such good heads on their shoulders. It's really cool to see, and it's amazing to see such young kids that are talented doing the right thing, the right thing. Because not every kid's making the right decision out there, but it's at least somebody somewhere is doing something right. I talked to his coach as well, Brett Nally.
Okay.
We talked a little bit, and Brett's a great guy, and these Boonesboroughs, they seem like they got a good program out there. We talked a little bit about Williamsport's program as well, and I just recently got to meet Aaron Brooks,
Okay.
the Olympic bronze medalist, and every wrestler and every wrestling coach I've come across has been humble, and they just move along like any other normal person. Even Aaron, carries himself so nice, going out of his way to help us out when he didn't need to. And it's cool to see. It's good to see such a good report in the community, in the county, in Washington County. In wrestling, playing a big part in that. So yeah, like Gary said, Williamsport Junior Wrestling Club. It's no tryouts, open to anybody. Come on out. You can check them out. You guys have a website online?
I believe so. Yes, sir.
Just if
Facebook,
you can't find it,
Williamsport
Facebook,
Wrestling
Google,
Club.
yeah. And you guys are going to be in the Christmas parade coming up on Friday. So if they see you out there and they're interested, they can hop on the float.
There you go. There you go.
Well, Gary, it is always a pleasure hanging out with you and talking with you. And I appreciate you coming on today. And good luck to you in all your coaching endeavors. Good luck to the Maryland Cowboys this season and you guys' inaugural season. And I'll probably see you Friday because I'll be in the parade.
All right, sir. We'll see you then.
All right. Thanks for hanging out, Gary.
Yes, sir.
If you'd like to be featured on the Coach's Corner with Andy, email coach at 921thegoat.com.